Alright, I think we've got everything working now. So, hello, good morning. It's March 30th, and here's our Algebra 2 notes. The lesson we're going to talk about today is dividing by factoring. Let's see, it's taking a bit of time, isn't it? Trying to make sure that it's going to change over. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we are working. Sorry, I just had to wait for the delay on my side to make sure things were going okay. Alright. So a few things I want to talk about at the beginning. The assignment and a little bit of other stuff going on around the school. So one, on Google Classroom I just posted links for our course registrations. So whether you're going to the 11th grade or to the 12th grade, they're here for you. There's a bit.ly link for information for you to fill out. If you need any help with that, we can have a discussion and I can try to help guide you with that that choice. Okay, 12th grade, separate link. Okay. If you know people going to the 10th grade or the 9th grade, the bit.ly is extremely similar. Instead of SHS grade 11 course, they would have a 10 there. Okay. So this week what we're going to talk about is dividing by factoring and dividing by long division. So we're going to start off with the dividing by factoring since that's a little bit newer to what we've already done so far. Okay. So like always, there is this ever-changing PowerPoint of when I'm available to help out. So I just want to make sure that you guys know where this is. This one's already blocked out because we're done with this week. Here's this week. I haven't made the next slide for next week and having its live links on there, but that'll be updated before then. So with dividing by factoring, like always, there's a blank copy of the notes that if you want to, you can print it out if you're able to. If not, they're real short, so you can copy them down as we go through them, because we may not do all of the problems. There is also a, okay, for some reason it's not playing, a teacher copy of the notes. So these are already filled out, so you can look at these as well to this video. And the activities. There's a digital activity as well as a paper activity if you're able to print at your home or have access to a printer. For the digital activity, this is a little how-to document on how to get to the activity. It's going to be through ixl.com. It's a, I think, kind of Khan Academy-ish as far as like the practice problems go. So you need to log into your account. Your username and your password were sent to your Seguin ISD email. Reach out to me if you can't find it. This is what my email looks like when I made a dummy account. Okay, so this is where all that information is. So you would log on, and your screen would look like this. And so you'd click on Skills Suggested by Your Teacher, aka me, well, right here. For this first one, we're going to be doing the one that they've titled Simplify Rational Expressions. It's really division by factoring, but sometimes people call skills by different names, so it has a slightly different name than what we're calling it. And you would work through the questions until you reach a desired SMART score. So it's less about, like, here's a set number of problems, you have to get this many right to pass. This will, for you guys who get it right away, you'll be able to answer less questions to get the score that you want. Or if you guys need a little bit of help, it slows down a bit. Okay? It's kind of like the TSI where it learns with you or grows with you, which is kind of nice. There's additional resources down at the bottom. So this is the digital activity, okay? If you want to do that. There is also a paper activity that covers the same content. I don't know why it's being booty. Okay, simplifying rational expressions. Again, it's division by factoring, just by a different name. So there's a couple of questions on here that you can work out on a sheet of paper, take a photo of that, and upload it to the assignment on Google Classroom. Okay, same type of content, you just got the problems here. And if you want to, if you're able to print out, here's a little recording sheet. Okay. Again, you have your choice in between which of the two assignments that you choose to do. I have a digital and a paper. Okay. This will be due by Sunday. Okay. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and get into the notes for division by factoring. So I've got that pulled up here. Of course, my Apple Pencil is dead. Unicorn iPad. I do hope you guys know that you are missed. Really do miss seeing you guys every day. I hope you're doing well. Okay. Alright, so a rational expression. It just means a rational expression is a ratio, aka a fraction, of two polynomials expressions. To simplify a rational expression, we're going to factor, we're going to simplify, and we're going to eliminate. Okay? So, let's see, problem number 1 here. We've got 20x to the 6th power over 14x to the 2nd power. Well, we can't factor either of these two things. They're one term, but we can cancel out from top and bottom just like we would with normal fractions. So let's see. 20 divided by 14, so they both cancel out by a factor of 2. So that would give us 10 over 7. And then we've got 6 powers of x in the numerator and 2 powers of x in the denominator. So that'll leave us with x to the 4th in the numerator. Alright, next problem. Number 2, 6k minus 36 divided by k minus 6. Okay, so this we actually can do some factoring. The numerator here has a greatest common factor. Largest number that goes into both 6 and 36 is 6. So I can factor that out. I can divide it out of the first two terms. So let's see, we would get 6 over, or rather 6 times k minus 6 over k minus 6. And then I look at this and see, okay, is there anything that factors out? Well, the expression k minus 6 is the same for both the numerator and the denominator. So those would cancel out, leaving me with 6. Alright, moving on. Boop. Alright. Problem 3. Y plus 8 divided by y squared plus 2y minus 48. Can't really do anything to y plus 8 because it's linear. There's no greatest common factor, it's just there. But the denominator is a trinomial, specifically a trinomial with a value of 1. It's 1y squared. So we can factor it. Okay. So let's see, we're going to try to go from negative 48 to positive 2. So let's see, so 1 and 48, that's not going to work. 2 and 24, that's not going to work. Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know 3 goes in. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Let's see, 4 and 12. 16 and 11. Okay. Not 5, yes, 6, 6 and 8. Okay. So if I'm wanting to make a positive 2 out of these numbers, let's see. 6 and 8, I want a positive 2, so in this case the smaller number is going to be negative. Okay, so I can go over here and write y plus 8. We didn't do anything to the numerator, so it stayed the same. But our denominator, let's see. Well, y, we had a minus 6 and a positive 8. So the expression that's the same in both our numerator and denominator is y plus 8, so that cancels out, leaving us with 1 over y minus 6. Notice that even if everything cancels out or divides out in the numerator, there's still going to be a multiple of 1, because you can multiply by 1 and not change anything. All right. Over here, number 4, 2r squared minus 2r minus 40 over 8r squared plus 32. Okay, so I'll admit, the first time I looked at that problem, I saw, oh, it's a trinomial and it has a number out front of the variable squared. Okay, I'm going to have to do box method on that. No. Reason being is you always want to check to see if that thing has a greatest common factor. Let's see, we've got 2, -2, and -40. The largest number that goes into all of those things is 2. And the same for the denominator, it has a greatest common factor. In this case, let's see, 8 and 32. So what I want to double check, does 8 go into 32? It does. It goes in 4 times. So 8 is the largest number that those have in common. So that means I can take the 2 out front. It leaves me with r squared minus r minus 20. And in the denominator, I can take the 8 out front, leaving me with r plus 4. So now I want to try to factor what I have there. R squared minus r minus 20, that's a trinomial. It's a trinomial with an a value of 1. It's 1r squared, so we can do the shortcut. We don't have to do the box method to the problem. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to try to go, change up my color here a bit. -20 to -1. So that's going to be a 4 and a 5. Now if I want it to be a -1, I need my larger number to be negative. Okay. So I'll come back over here. Still have 2. So now I have r plus 4, r minus 5, divided by 8r plus 4. I want to see if I can cancel anything out. Okay, so the r plus 4's cancel out, those go. But additionally, the 2 divided by 8 can be reduced. So 2 divided by 8 is 1/4. So in my numerator, I've got 1 times r minus 5. Not really necessary to write multiples of 1. And the denominator, we just had a 4 left over. Alright, problem 5. It says, watch out. A minus b divided by b minus a, that is equal to a -1. So if we see that pattern, where it's like the same numbers, but they're opposite of each other in the numerator and denominator, you can say that thing is equal to -1. Alright, so let's see what we got here. P squared minus 49 over 7 minus p. Okay, so I want to see if there's anything I can do to factor it. This numerator is a difference of squares. So let's see, this is a value of p and a b value of 7. So that's going to factor into p plus 7, p minus 7. And then our denominator we can't really do anything to, so it's there. Okay. If you're having a little bit of trouble with the difference of square stuff, I recommend that you go back 2 weeks prior and relook at some of those videos. Maybe try that Google slide again, try to earn some correction points if you didn't do so hot on it. Yeah. Okay, so here we've got p plus 7 times p minus 7 divided by 7 minus p. The whole reason we had that watch out over there on the left is to keep an eye out for patterns like this. They're the same, but the signs are opposite. This guy is equal to a -1. So we'll continue. Let's see, so we have -1 times p plus 7. Okay. I'm going to distribute in the negative. So I have negative p minus 7. That's my final answer. Okay. Problem 6. 12a cubed minus 3a divided by 12a cubed plus 6a squared. Okay, so I'm going to look at factoring it. Always check for greatest common factor first. So for our numerator, our greatest common factor, see, the largest number that goes into 12 and 3 is 3, and then the largest power of a that's in common is a. In the denominator, the largest number that goes into 12 and 6 is 6. And the largest power of a that they have in common is a squared. So that's what I'm going to factor out front. 3a, 6a squared. Okay. So if I take a 3a out of 12a cubed, 12 divided by the 3 is 4. Take out 1 power of a, so with a squared. If I take a 3a out of a negative 3a, we'll leave behind a negative 1. And in the denominator, we'll get 2a plus 1. Alright, so then we look to see if there's any other factoring we can do to this guy. So the 3a, the 6a squared, they're fine. They're one term, they're hanging out. The 2a plus 1 in the denominator, also fine. It's linear, and it doesn't have a greatest common factor. We already took it out. But the 4a squared minus 1, that's another difference of squares. Let's see, our a value would be 2a, and our b value would be 1. So we've got 3a, 2a plus 1, 2a minus 1, all over 6a squared, 2a plus 1. Okay, now look at anything I can cancel out. So 2a plus 1 expression is the same on both top and bottom, so that's going to go. Then also the 3 and the 6 can reduce, and the powers of a can reduce as well. So in our numerator, we're left with 2a minus 1, and in our denominator, 2a, yeah, just 2a. There we go. Alright, last two. I'm going to clear the board and move the screen up. Should have done that a long time ago. Boop, 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 boop. Pencil was being silly again. Should be good. Alright. Alright, so 7. 6n squared plus 8n plus 2 divided by 2n squared minus 2. Okay, so that numerator has a greatest common factor of 2, and same with the denominator. So if I factor the 2 out from the numerator, it'll leave me with 3n squared plus 4n plus 1, and the denominator will leave me with n squared minus 1. So I want to keep looking at factoring this in. So what's left over in the numerator now is a trinomial, and specifically with an a value not equal to 1. There's a 3 out front. So for this, we're going to use box method. So specifically, I'm going over here, I'm going to do some scratch work. And we're going to factor 3n squared plus 4n plus 1. First thing in the first box, last thing in the last box, we multiply those together. 3 times 1 is 3. So factors of 3 to make 4 are 1 and 3. Those go in the other boxes with the middle variable. And now we find the greatest common factor for each row and column. So for the first column, there's a 3n in common. For the second column, there's a 1. First row is an n, and second row is also 1. Remember, you can multiply back in to double check, just like Punnett squares in biology. So that means we've got 3n plus 1 and n plus 1 for our numerator. In our denominator, the 2 is still going to be there. This is a trinomial box method. And then this is another difference of squares. Holy cow, there's so many of them. N and 1. So n plus 1, n minus 1. Let me see if anything cancels out. So the n plus 1 is the same, and the 2's cancel out. So we're left with 3n plus 1 over n minus 1. Alright, last problem for these notes. 45 minus 5w divided by 3w squared minus 28w plus 9. Okay, so the numerator does have a greatest common factor of 5. The denominator does not have a greatest common factor because 3 doesn't go into 28. So we're going to jump right into a box method on that one. So in my numerator, I can take out the 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9, and that'll leave me with w. Then in my denominator, okay, I need to use box method on that to see what we're going to get. So I'll step over to the side here and do that problem. First term in the first box, last term in the last box. We've done this plenty before. We multiply those two things together. 3 times 9 is 27. So 27 to make a negative 28. Let me move this. So let's see, that's going to be a 1 and 27. To get them to be a negative 28, but still multiply together to get that positive 27, I'm going to make them both negative. So those will go in the empty boxes with the middle variable. Oh. Let me find the greatest common factor for each row and column. First column is a w, second column is a negative 9. First row is a 3w, and second row is a negative 1. So I'm going to take that information, go back over to our main problem. Here's that pattern again where they're really close to each other. Make sure I'm doing this right. No. One second. Just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Yeah. I lost a negative somewhere. Let me look at that. Figure out where did I lose. Oh, I lost a negative just copying it over from box method. Boop. I lost that negative. Okay. There's the pattern that is equal to negative 1 from the second row. So this is, let's see, 5 times negative 1 is a negative 5, and then our denominator we have 3w minus 1. Alright, so that's the end of the notes there. I'm going to talk through the assignment just a little bit more, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. Alright, so now that you've gone through the notes, you have two choices as far as which activity you want to do. You don't have to do both, but I wanted to give you choices. Okay, so on Google Classroom, under lesson 1, we just finished the notes. Here's the teacher copy. Here's the video of this. I'll have to update the link because I had to restart the stream. And then there's a digital activity as well as a paper activity. So the digital activity, you go to ixl.com. You would find a code on your email. So my demo student account. Whoops. Totally professional. Oh, 435. Okay, got my username wrong. Okay, so once you log in, remember your login information is in your Seguin ISD email. Contact me if you can't find it. Okay. We would go here, 2 skills suggested by a teacher. This activity is oversimplifying rational expressions. And it starts you off with some problems here. Let's see, this one has a greatest common factor of C, so I would take that out. Looks like the C minus 9s will cancel out, so this one I think is just C. There's some additional things that can help out down here. They also have an example if you need that as well. Okay. You would keep going until you get the SMART score that you desire. So whatever grade you want, here's your opportunity to earn it. In addition to turning in your scratch work. You need to see those things. Credit, okay? Right. Or you can do the paper activity if you have access to a printer, or if you just want to do it on notebook paper, that's fine as well. So you've got a number of problems here to do. And you can always check in with me if you need help with any of these things, because the IXL people are going to get that confirmation that they're doing it right as they go. So reach out to me if you want me to walk you through any of these problems. I'm here for you, okay? Right. So at this point, I'm going to update the link here on Google Classroom as far as for this video, because it just had to change because I had to restart. And then I'll be available on Google Meets if you need any help. Okay? Toodaloo. Go wash your hands.